Right, good morning everyone, welcome to CrosseMaths live lesson. Okay, this morning is going to be year 8. Okay, I'm going to turn off comments as normal, okay? This morning's year 8. Have a go at the start of when you're ready, okay? When you are set and ready, have a go at the starter for me. Okay, same as normal. Okay, we're going to have a look at the similar topics each time. These will get these embedded in your brain, ready to start year 9 next year. Have a go at these, please, guys. I'll give you 5 minutes to get all of those done if possible. Right guys, 3 more minutes, see if you can get all of those done, that'd be brilliant. Right guys, last minute or so. Right guys, finish off whatever one you're on. Right, let's have a look. So, I got 1,224 divided by 9. That's our first one. So, I'm going to do it in, I'll do this in one colour and then I'll do the answer in a different colour. So, 1,224 divided by 9. Okay, I'm going to do the answer in red. 9 doesn't go into 1, so I carry the 1 over. 9 goes into 12 once, remainder 3. 9 goes into 32 3 times, remainder 5. And 9 goes into 54 6 times. So my answer is 136, so 2 points on the first one. Zero 0.5 times 0.9. Again, I don't like doing these ones, okay? So what I usually do, I don't like doing 0.5 times 0.9 because I'm not smart enough to do it. So what I'll do is I'll do 5 times 9 in my head, which gives me 45. And then I'm going to count back 2 spaces because there's 2 numbers after the decimal point in the question. So I count back 1, 2, put a decimal point back in my answer. Remember, there's got to be a 0 before the decimal point. So my answer is 0.45. Next one, green one again. Love these, okay? It's really important to get good at multiplying. If you can add, multiply, divide and subtract, I back most people to do really well at GCSE, okay? Certainly at intermediate and foundation. Now, draw my grid, okay? You can do whatever way you want, man. You don't have to do the way I do it, okay? It's not imperative you do exactly the same way as me, but again, find a way that works for you. Okay, so I've got 53 times 79. Okay, and if I multiply those together, 5 times 7 is 35. 3 times 7 is 21. 5 times 9 is 45. And 3 times 9 is 27. Once you're there, you just got to add up your slides, okay? So what I'm going to do, I've got a 7 in the first one, so I'm going to have 7. Then I've got a 5, a 2, and a 1, which makes 8. Then I've got a 4, a 5, and a 2, which makes 11. And a 3 and a 1, which makes 4. So my answer is 4187 for that one. If you need to copy that down, please do it either now or at the end. Okay, that's worth 3 points. Next one, I've got 7x take away 20. Just take the cardboard box off the dog. 7x take away 20 equals 36. Just a bit of solving equations, okay? Very straightforward. I like solving equations. I find them really easy. You just got to do the same things essentially every time. I want to get rid of that minus 20, so I'm going to add 20 to both sides. 7x moves straight down. Minus 20 plus 20 is nothing. 36 plus 20 is 56. 7x is 56. If I divide through by 7, I end up getting x on its own equals 8. Because 56 divided by 7 is 8. That's worth 3 points. Next one. Okay, got a bit of expanding brackets. Similar to what we did on Tuesday, I think it was. Okay, expand the left and then expand the right. While you're expanding the left, just ignore what's going on over here, okay? I can draw, you can draw over it if you want to. Doesn't really matter. I like to draw over it just so I can ignore it for the time being. Then, I've got 6 times x is 6x. Oh, I don't want to do that in chunky pen. 6 times x is 6x squared. 6x times 3 is 18x. Then I need this back now. I need to see what's under there again, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Minus x times x is minus 1x squared. And then minus x times 2 is negative 2x. Okay, be careful with your signs. Okay, once you're there now, I know that certain bits here are the same. So I'm going to put a rectangle around the 6x squared, put a rectangle around the minus x squared. Okay, those two are the same. And I'm going to put a different shape around the plus 18x and minus 2x. Okay, once I'm there, 6x squared take away 1x squared is 5x squared. 18x take away 2x is plus 16x. And that's my final answer for 2 points. That was not easy, okay? That one was difficult. Next one. So, 6x take away y. Again, we're going to do the same thing. That is simplifying, similar to what we just did, but without the expanding at the start. So I've got a 6x I'm going to get the y out of there. I've got a 6x at the start. And I've got a minus 8x. Remember to get the sign in front. Okay. And I've got a minus y and plus 5y. Okay, so if I look at the ones with rectangles first, 6x take away 8. 6 take away 8 is minus 2x. Minus y plus 5y is the same as 5y take away 1y. Just leaves us with 4y. 1 point. 17.5% of 160. Okay, very straightforward. 10% first. 10% is 16. Half that would get me 5%, which is 8. Half that again, give me 2.5%, which is 4. Now, I want 17.5%. If I add all these up, if I add all those up, you get 17.5%. So if I add all those up as well, I end up with 28. So 17.5% of 160 is 28. Very straightforward as long as you've got nice numbers. 1 point. Next one, share £91 in the ratio 10 to 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to add my shares up. So, 10 plus 3 equals 13 shares altogether. 13 shares. I'm going to do £91 divided by 13, because I want to know how much one share is worth. If I divide them, 91 divided by 13 is 7. So every share is worth £7. Then I need 10 lots of 7, which is 70. And 3 lots of 7, which is 21. So the person on the left gets 70, person on the right gets £21. 3 points for that one. Right, very last question. Okay, adding fractions. Okay, you've got to make sure the bottom numbers are the same. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 times 5, which brings 30 on the bottom of both. Still a plus question. Then I'm going to cross multiply 5 times 1, gives me 5 on the top left. 6 times 4 gives me 24 on the top right. Once I'm there, I just add the tops, keep the bottom exactly the same. 5 plus 24 leaves me with 29. So my answer is 29 over 30. That's 2 points. Right, guys, all together, this is out of 18. Altogether, it's out of 18 points, okay? Make sure you've added them all up. Write down your scores each time, okay? If you're tuning into these sessions at least once a week, okay, you should see some progress. If you're getting them right all the time, you need to find a more difficult session, okay? If you're doing year 8 just because you're in year 8, do one that's harder. Take on a year 9 or a GCSE intermediate session. Right then, so very straightforward, fraction of amount, okay? We're just going to slam through this today and then see how we get on later in the week. So, a quarter of 16, all you do with a fraction of amount, you divide by the bottom times by the top. Okay, so I'm going to do 16 divided by 4 first. 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. And then I'm going to times by the top. However, if the top is already a 1, you don't need to times by the top. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. So my answer is just 4. Same thing on the one underneath. Divide by the bottom times by the top. 35 divided by 5 gives me 7. I'm going to times by the top, but if you times anything by 1, it just gives itself. So my answer is still 7. Right, guys, get those 2 examples down, please. And then write down have a go at those ones on the right-hand side. Remember, you divide by the bottom, multiply top. Those are your 2 key points. Get those examples down. Have a go at the ones on the right-hand side for you, please. Thirty seconds. Right then, so you've got to divide by the bottom, times by the top. 24 divided by 60, divided by 6 gives me 4, times by 1 leaves me with an answer of still 4. Underneath, same thing, divide by the bottom, times by the top. 28 divided by 4 gives me 7, and then times by 1 leaves me still with an answer of 7, okay? Right guys, make sure those are marked for me please, and then let's move on. Right guys, have a go at some questions on there please for me. Okay, they do get difficult as you get through the bits, okay? Have a go. I'll give you about 2-3 minutes to see if you can get those done. Okay, 2-3 minutes to see if you can get many of those done. Remember, you've got to divide by the bottom times by the top. If they're a 1, it's okay, you can stop there. But if it's a 3 on the top or a 2 on the top, you've obviously got to times by that at the end. Okay, so be careful once you get to F. Still 2 minutes guys, so you can get all of those done. Remember to write the questions as well as the answers so you can look back and know what you've actually done. Right then, so, right guys, mark whatever you've done so far. Okay, check your answers. Okay, if you got some of the ones further on wrong, I'm going to do examples on those in a sec. So if you did get them all right, that's brilliant. If you got some wrong, that's okay. Again, I'm going to have a go in a sec at some of those. Right, cool. So, again, if you missed any of your answers, you didn't manage to copy them down in time, remember at the end, I'll make sure that I put this on and you can just pause it and skip to the bit you want. Now, same thing as before, we divide by the bottom times by the top. These are some of the ones from F onwards. Okay, if I do 16 divided by 4, we know I get 4. Then I've got to times that answer by the top. So I'm going to do 4 multiplied by 3, which gives me 12. So my final answer, 3/4 of 16 equals 12. Same thing on the one underneath. I'm going to divide by the bottom times by the top. Okay. 35 divided by 5, we just did it a minute ago. 35 divided by 5 gives me 7. Then I'm going to take that 7 and I'm going to times it by the top. 7 times by 4 gives me 28. So my answer, 4/5 of 35, is 28. Okay. No, that didn't work. Right, guys, get those two on the left copied down. Have a go at the ones on the right. Okay, this is as difficult as it possibly gets. Okay, have a go. Make sure you write your examples down super clearly so you can look back on this, okay? The more stuff you understand from year 8 going into year 9, the better you'll be in September. "30 seconds, guys, and I'm going to go through them. Right then, so divide by the bottom times by the top. Same thing applies over here. I'm going to do 24 divided by 6 gives me 4. We saw that a minute ago. And then I'm going to times that 4, by the top. So 4 times by the top, which is 5, gives me 20. So my answer for 5, 6 of 24 is just 20. Okay, same thing down the bottom. Okay, 4/7 of 28. Okay, I'm going to divide by 7 and times by 4. It's 28 divided by 7 gives me 4. And then I'm going to take this 4 and times it by the 4 that's on the top. 4 times 4 gives me 16. Okay, so my answer, 4/7 of 28, is 16. Done. Right then, so have a go at some of these, guys. They get very difficult. They get very, very difficult, as you can see over here, okay? Have a go. Get as many done as you can in about 3 minutes, okay? And then I'm going to move on to something different. Okay, maybe a little bit longer. You get as many done as you can. They do get hard. Right guys, so have a look at the answers for me, please. Mark whatever you've done so far. Right then, so that's all done. Make sure that's marked for me. Right, a bit of problem solving now, guys. So have a go at look at the. Shh, there's nothing wrong with you. Have a look at the one on the right hand side. You need to work out how much a bus and a plane cost individually. Okay, bit of problem solving from one of the reasoning papers. Okay, have a look how much they cost individually. Give you 2 more minutes to do this. Last minute on this, guys. Right then, so working this out, okay, what you've got to do, you've got to compare the 2 pictures. Now looking at the first one, I've got a bus and a plane. Okay, that costs £4.50. Now looking at that, I can only guess what each individual one is worth. If the second one's worth £35.75, I'm probably going to guess wrong. Okay, so what I've got to do, I can see in the second picture there's a bus and a plane. I can also see there's another bus and a plane. Okay, so those 2 individually cost £14.50. Okay, but there's a bus on the end, and that's the important bit. Okay, so if I take £35.75 and take away £14.50 and take it away again to get rid of the 2 bus and planes, I'm left with just the cost of the one bus, the yellow bus on the end, which is £6.75. Now if I want to work out the cost of a a plane now. I know the cost of a bus is, that can be bus. I know the cost of a bus is £6.75. I've just got to go to my £14.50 and I've just got to take away £6.75. Take those away, can't do it, I'm going to borrow. 10 take away 5 is 5. 4 take away 7, I can't do it either. 14 take away 7 is 7. 3 take away that, I can't do it. 13 take away 6 is 7. So it's £7.75 for a plane and £6.75 for a bus. Okay, very straightforward question. Okay, it just takes a little bit of thinking outside the box and a little bit of problem solving. Right guys, very last thing to finish. This is off a GCSE paper. Okay, I've put it in Comic Sans and made it look pretty, but it's off a GCSE paper. Have a go at this. I'll give you just over a minute to have a go at this. Okay, if you get this right, you really, really understand fraction of amount and you can apply it to GCSE papers. Last 30 seconds or so, guys. Right then, so there are 24 hours in a day and scientists tell us that we should sleep for 3/8 of the day. Now, how much time should we spend awake? Now, that's going to be the opposite of the one the scientists have told us about. So if we're asleep 3/8 of the day, we need to be awake for 5/8 of the day. And now I know a day is 24 hours. So we need to work out 5/8 of 24 hours. So in order to do that, I'm going to change my colour. I need to divide 24 by 8. 24 divided by 8 gives me 3. And then I need to times that by 5. So 3 times 5 gives me 15. So altogether, according to scientists, we should be awake for 15 hours of every single day. Guys, if you got that right, that's amazing. You really understand this topic. Well done for tuning in. Okay, I know it's difficult not